Hey there, this is Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show. So before we get started, look right there in the center of your screen at bib number 123. That is the owner, the coach, all-around good guy, organizer, you name it, of the WC Dev Racing Team, the Westchester Development Racing Team to be specific, but that's Steve K. So I was really happy today. This is the first time I've ever raced with Steve K. He's had, just a lot of stuff going on lately. Hasn't raced for, I don't know, I think he tried one race this year, and things didn't really work out well. But so it's been a while since Steve K has done a race. So we're off and rolling. I'm really happy. You can see my my other race partner, Steve W, right there to the left. This is Steve W's second race today. He did the Masters 55 plus immediately before this race, jumped right into this race, and so this race is the men's 3-4. And this was definitely a good race. It was a tough race. There were a lot of younger guys in it, some strong guys in it. We're just sort of getting started out here. So the plan was that Steve W, Steve K, and myself are going to work together, just to sort of, get things started, get Steve rolling on through the race, and move things along. So Steve K was up towards the front at the start, and by the way, there's bib 113. That's my buddy Joe, who you recognize from a lot of my previous videos. Right, it seems like every race I do, I'm there with Joe, which I really enjoy, and Steve W. So that's all good. So we're just sort of working around the first lap. Believe it or not, and you can see the course map in the upper right corner. This was a bit of a technical course from the perspective that there really was not a lot of room to move around. You'll see, like, even through these little, like I call it, chicane section, the whole group just swings from the right to left, so you really can't move around, cut around, do whatever. I went off onto the grass one time because a guy cut inside. A little bit of a squirrely course, especially when things come together. It's very, very quick that action happens. Like if somebody slows down a little bit, it just has that accordion effect, and things compress or expand real quickly. So this is still the first lap. Now you're going to see here we're going to be making the turn. This was a good turn. It was a nice tight turn. This is the turn into the home stretch. And you'll see here that when you hit the home stretch, it was a fast home stretch. It was definitely good. We're right up, over 30 miles an hour. The map is actually a little bit ahead of. I couldn't get it quite synced with the video that's going on, but it's pretty close. Here's the start finish line. We got 17 laps to go. They actually shortened this race. Don't know why, but they shortened it. So you can see Steve K up ahead slightly on the left side. Steve W and I were talking. We figured, hey, we'll work our way up to Steve, and just sort of work together as the three of us to get things going. It was early in the race, so we weren't really too worried about getting right up there. So at this point, we're just into the second lap. And again, the distance and the time are a little off as well because my GPS head unit doesn't start right away. Even though I hit start, it takes a couple seconds. So we're probably maybe not even 0.2 of a mile off, but and the time's off a little bit. But anyway, so we're going along. We're into the second lap now, and now you can see there's Steve. Steve W's coming up. He'll go past Steve. And then I'll go past Steve, and then the three of us were sort of just in there together. Joe's going to come up, so we had the semblance of a plan. I'll put it that way. We had the semblance of a plan, and I think for the most part it worked out. But the WC Dev kits, they definitely stand out. I like them. I think they're one of the nicest looking kits in the race. They're colorful. You can recognize it, although I have to give Steve W a demerit. He didn't wear the team socks, so shame on you, Steve W. Anyway, so now we're coming up. Oh, by the way, you just saw there was some squirrely stuff there. Steve had to actually, that was what I was talking about, a very accordion effect. It's a fast course, it's a tricky course, and if somebody touches the brakes or slows down, the accordion effect happens. So you just saw there where I just went right by Steve because he got behind somebody that touched the brakes and he had to immediately react. So right now I'm sitting in front of Steve K. Don't have eyes in the back of my head, but I know he's back there. I talked to him as I went by. and just said, we're going to hang here for a little bit, just see what's going on. Let's see how things go. So as we're going around, you'll eventually see Steve W. come up again. You'll see Joe come up again. And the plan was, just ride along with the pack for a little bit. Don't try to do anything right away. We're done 2 laps now. We just finished the second lap. Just sort of get a feel for the race. Let Steve get back into get back into the racing. Get the feel of riding the pack and everything. Because like I said, this is a pretty tight course. It's it's like 3 bike lanes. You see the white lines on there. It really is like 3 bike lanes. So at this point, Steve asked, let's move over to the right side of the course a little bit. You'll see it come up here again. Here's another situation where you saw the accordion effect. And I was coming into the guy in front of me. The guy on the left right there was coming in. And, you just had to scrub a little speed, but you had to do it more than you really wanted to. So there goes Joe. So now I got able to move to the right, sit on Joe's wheel. Steve's on my wheel. You're going to see Steve W. come up in a little bit, but, I know I'm in a good place behind Joe. Joe, as I've mentioned numerous times, he's a good, smart rider. He picks good lines. He makes the right moves. So, I'm totally comfortable following Joe. I don't have any issues being on his wheel, knowing that he's not going to do anything crazy. He's just going to ride and keep going where he needs to go. So, not too much really going on at this moment. Things are just sort of settling into place. We're a little stretched out. No attacks have happened yet. It's still early. We've got there's going to be 15 laps to go after this lap, so we've got a little bit of time. But anyway, it was like I said, it was fun riding with Steve. I enjoyed it. I don't know if the 3-4s for me though. There's a lot of young guys. I looked at the finish list when we were done, and I think in the top 10 places, the average age might have been 21. There were people under and over, but they were young. They were young people, and man, they had some power. So at this point, I'm just watching. I'm just following different wheels. I think I follow this guy right ahead of me in the black. I think I follow him up a little bit. I didn't want to sit too far in the back, because one of the things that that'll happen in races, they tell you want to be in the front, you don't want to be in the middle, you don't want to be in the back, because that's where the chaos happens. That's where crashes happen. Like you'll see that guy right there that I was following. He almost went onto the grass there. I actually went onto the grass once. A guy cut in front of me. You'll see another point up here where another guy goes into the grass. So, it's a good course. It's a fast course, but again, it was a tricky course. The chicanes were trickier than you thought. So coming around this bend here, as you look on the map, it's a slight rise. It's nothing hard. It's nothing killer, but you do it time after time after time. It is a little bit of rise. Some guys get out of the saddle. I just tend to up my cadence. So now, again, we're on the right side. That's one of the spots you could move. You could move up a little bit on there. This chicane part, it was really hard. It was really hard to move forward on the chicane part, because you're going to see it goes from the left side back to the right side, and then we're going to go back to the left side. So you can see there's a line through this chicane, and you really couldn't go around or outside of the line, because people were going to dive by me and cut you off. It's just the way the course was set up. Not complaining. Just you had to know when you could do things. So now again we're coming down to the fast part. The last turn before the finishing straight. So come around this straight, and I liked the finishing straight. You see, come through this corner, we're coming through pretty good. We're coming in at 30 miles an hour, hit this straight, and it's still like I was coasting there. Now I'm just starting to pedal again. Like I said, that the statistics are off just a little bit, maybe by a second or two, but not by a whole lot. But this was a really good finishing part. So one of the things that also in this race, there were 3 preems, cash prizes. You would hear the bell, and that was a preem laps, and whoever came across the line first got a $20 cash prize. Don't want to spoil anything, but I will say one of my teammates got one. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say who, and I'm going to tell you it wasn't me. So that's going to be up to you now to decide. Which, by the way, if you happen to like this video and happen to watch this far, make sure you give it a like. I get a lot of views of videos. I don't get a lot of likes. I don't get a lot of comments. Feel free to leave a comment. I will get back to you eventually. Yeah, so, again, we're coming up to a little rise here. This is one of the parts, you could make a little move here if you got a good gap on the outside. It was really tough on the inside. Things closed down real fast on the inside of this course. And I was having this discussion with Steve K before the race. I love counterclockwise courses. I like turning left. For whatever reason, it just feels more natural to me. It feels faster to me. It's easier for me. I have a really, really hard time turning right. I mean, I can do it, but it just doesn't feel as right to me. Like, I just feel so much more faster and comfortable when I'm turning left as opposed to turning right. So this course, from that point of view, this course was good for me. It was all left-hand turns. There were a few right bends through the chicane and one sweeping right turn, up at the top of the map there. But for the most part, it's left, which I really liked. So anyway, at this point, we're still just going along. We're just over 10 minutes into the race. It was an 18-lap race, or supposed to be an 18-lap race. I think they actually knocked 2 laps off of it, because at some point it went from 4 to 2 laps, but not sure. So here's an example. So this guy's whose wheel I'm on, he's moving up on the outside here, which you had the occasion to do. So that was a good thing. Now, let's see, I'm still looking for where Steve W is. At some point, Steve W comes by, and you can see up in the distance there's 2 guys off the front, but they're not really threatening everything. For the most part, this race is still contained. Things are moving good. Nobody's really dropped the hammer on a group. So it's going well. But like I was saying earlier, like that straightaway, you could move up on the outside of that straightaway. You can move up on the outside of this uphill part. Inside was tough. There really was no room on the inside, and you just had to really watch your line. So there's another point up here where I think we'll see it. Maybe we won't. Somebody got a little bit too hard on their brakes, and I mean, we were lucky that people didn't go down. And one more thing that I'll tell you, I'll wait till we're closer to it. But I was just reminded that the best crashes that happen in a bike race are the crashes you don't know about, because that means you weren't in it, you weren't affected by it, and you didn't see it. So just remember that comment in about I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so. So anyway, this is the part of riding a lake where things are moving along. Everybody's pedaling. Everybody's no games are going on. Nobody's dive bombing. It's just there goes Steve up there, Steve W on the left side there. Steve was gonna move up a little bit, try to get into position to Steve loves to get to the front and set the pace. So. That might give you a little bit of an indicator as to who on the team got a preem, but more on that in a moment. But anyway, it's just, again, we're on the straight here. We got let's see, I think that said 12 laps to go. So I think that's where they might have actually cut it, because I think it was just 14 and now it's down to 12. And we've only done, it might be right. It was supposed to be 18 miles. We're at 6 now. They might not have cut it yet. I finished the race with 16 miles, so they definitely dropped 2 laps off. So there's still 2 guys just a little bit off the front. They're not making any headway. They're not opening up that advantage. Steve W's headed up that way. And I don't know if you'll see it in the frame, but eventually Steve does get up with those people. One of them drops off, so that Steve and there's Steve still in this frame, so he didn't get away yet. but Steve does get off with one of those guys, I believe, and the two of them stick together, and then the rest is history, which we'll get back to. Again, now we're coming down to this chicane part, and it's cool to watch now because you can really see how there really isn't a lot of opportunity to make any moves here because everything's flowing from right to left to right to left, and you can't cut inside because people are just moving over. So that wouldn't necessarily be a good move to make at this point. So all in all, if you're watching a power, so the right bottommost power is the 30-second average. So you can see like my average power, it's bursty, right? Which is what a lot of the crits are, right? You're gonna put the hammer down, then you're gonna coast. You're gonna put the hammer down, then you're gonna relax a little bit. So right now, again, this is the fast part of the course coming back into the finishing straight. Just saw Steve up there on the right side. So now at this point, I wanted to move up a little bit. I thought that Steve K and I were moving a little bit too far back, so starting to move up a little bit. Got behind this guy here. As I said, we just moved up, maybe a quarter of the pack. So that was a good place to move, and I know Steve's still on my wheel. So I think it's right here that this guy in front of me right there, he touched his brakes because the guy in front of him and I touched my brakes, and poor Steve K, he touched his brakes, and I was like, sorry, I didn't see it coming up. And then you can see just that little drop of speed. Now you got to work to get up there, and I was like, I had enough of this. So now coming around, I decided we were going to move up because I didn't like riding behind that guy. I didn't like how he was riding, and fortunately, you have that choice. If you don't like who you're riding behind, find somebody else to ride behind. So that's exactly what we did here. This guy that is right there to the left, that's one of Joe's teammates. That's a younger guy named O'Neill. He's got a lot of power. He's a good rider. I met him actually the first year I was racing. Really, really strong guy. Younger too, but a lot of power, a lot of speed. So you can see, now moving back up to, I just saw Steve W in the frame ahead of this guy a little bit. At least I thought it. Yeah, there he is. He's up there on the left. So now, we're getting back up more towards the front of the group. No particular reason other than I didn't like where we were, and at this point, I think it's this lap. I'll tell you in a second. I think it's this lap where it was a preem, and this isn't the one that. Yeah, this lap is when we go through the finish line. This is going to be a preem. This is not the one that Steve won, but you can see Steve's driving the pace. Steve K is probably like, why are we here? And in our group chat afterwards, I was like, well, I can't resist the temptation of a preem. It's just something that I got to do. So yeah, so this is a preem lap. You can tell because this guy on the left's starting to move. Steve W's still there. So I figured, hey, I'm up here. I'm going to get in the mix, see what happens. So I'm hopefully going to ride Steve's wheel as far as he can go. I'm just hoping he gets to the top of the little rise, which again in the upper map, it's after the next bend around. So right now, I came by Steve a little bit. No big deal. Somebody's going to come around me. I haven't expanded a lot of power to this point yet, so I'm still feeling good, still feeling pretty fresh. Not really too worried about being out here right now. I'm just hoping that somebody does come around to pick up the charge, because there's no way I'm carrying us all the way back to the start finish line because I have no gap at this point. There's I'm leading the pack, but there is a pack right behind me. So now here's where somebody comes up. So this guy here comes around me, and I get on his wheel right away. So now I'm sitting on his wheel. And he actually came by me pretty good. So I'm like, okay, this could be the wheel I want to follow. So he's going to carry it around down to the bottom straight. And at one point he sort of looked back, to see if I was going to come ahead of him, but I wasn't having any of that. So he carries it to the bottom straight, and he had good power. So when we get to the straight, midway through it, he's gonna start to push the pace. Right about there. There he goes. Right. So now he's pushed on the pace. You can see my power's going up, but I'm not panicked yet. I'm not going to go full out. He did open up a little gap when he pushed that pace, but again, I wasn't too worried about it. Now you can see my power's coming back up. I'm close on him. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got him. But now watch to the right of the screen. So I get him, and oops, there goes the guy that won the preem. So it was a good shot. I gave it an effort. So now sort of things regroup. It was fun. It was fun to participate in that. So at this point now, all I'm trying to do is keep moving forward, settle back in, regroup with the Steves, see what's going on, reassess things, and keep pressing forward to the end. But that just shows you the old man does not have much of a sprint. I think I might have hit like 800 watts. So here comes the group back by after things slow down. I'll start moving back in again. So I'm following this guy, the guy right there who won the preem. I'm following him. I'm pretty sure at this point Steve's on my wheel because I did hear him at some point saying, I prefer to stay back a little bit. Something like don't do that again. I'm like, I can't help it. It's fun. There's Steve. Yeah, so Steve's right there. Still riding strong. I was really, really happy to like I said, to ride this with Steve. It was great. I'll definitely do more. If he wants to do more, I'll definitely do more. Like I said, the other 3-4 I did, I got shot out the back after halfway through. But this course wasn't that kind of course. This one was it was fast, but it was hard to really get too far away. There's Joe. So everything's sort of coming back together. There's Steve. And I'm going to start working my way back over, towards Joe, towards Steve, and just sort of like at this point, I'm just regaining, that from the effort I had put out. Again, I wasn't really doing much before then, so I didn't feel too bad. I knew I was going to be right back into being able to push along. So we're probably at the halfway point now, and I'm watching for when I was meant to be paying attention. So when that first preem happened, you saw Steve W move by and move back up towards the front, and when he did that, he was up there, and I believe he was in contention on the next preem, not the first one. So I still haven't made my way back over to Steve, but I can see, Steve's really good at finding wheels, just like me. You find a wheel, you get on a wheel, you ride that wheel until it's not beneficial for you anymore, and then you move to the next one. So right now, the guy immediately on the right who's just coming out of the picture, that's the wheel Steve's on. So I'm trying to get, over that way a little bit. I forget what, I think I'm trying to get on this active yards guy's wheel. Let me see if I move to the right there. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I think Steve just told me, come on in. He was behind this guy, so now I think Steve's back on my wheel. And now I'll just keep doing circles. And at some point in here, you're going to see somebody in this turn, that's just off the front a little bit. And that's my other teammate, Steve. And it's right around the time where the second preem was happening. So like I said, this was a nice fast course. Like this downhill part, I'm coasting at almost 30 miles an hour. And that's the other thing, if you ever want to feel the benefits of drafting, this is where you feel it. A nice tight course like this where people are packed in, it's just it's amazing. You get to the front and you feel like you're doing double the effort as opposed to like sitting in here. So right now we're just moseying along. I think we'll take a check at the lap counter next time around. But I also pay attention the next time around when we get up near that top turn. pay attention if somebody's off the front. I forget how spaced out the preems were, but I think the second one was pretty close to the first one. I did a total of 3. So you would think like that would be like every 6 laps, but of course then you have the finishing lap, so they're not going to do it on that one. So we'll see when the next one is. So this was probably one of the slowest times that we came through the start finish. I mean, we're at 25, 26 miles an hour, and this is the fast part of the course. So let's see if we can see the lap counter. 7 to go. Okay. So now up here on the top, let's see if anybody's off the front. Because this is probably about the time that they're going to have another preem. I do see a ride up there. I can't tell if that's Steve or not. There is one rider off the front. Couldn't quite make out the colors, but let's see if we can see better coming around this corner. You get a little bit better of an angle. Yeah, so that might be Steve at that point, because there's 2 guys up there. So I think this is the one where they had a gap. Steve was talking to me afterwards. He let that other guy sort of help him, and they held it off. And spoiler alert, Steve W got the preem. So kudos to Steve. He timed that one right, made a good solid effort, and actually got some space between him and the pack. And let that other guy lead out for a little bit, and then Steve came around him at the end. So great job, Steve. Really glad that you were representing the WC Dev Racing team properly. Always fun to ride with him as well. Yeah, you notice too, the other thing that I've really noticed is my heart rate recovered. I don't know if you saw, but during the preem, when I was going for it, my heart rate was up around 174, which is pretty significant for me. If I'm in 150 to 160 range, I'm comfortable. So right now, I'm pedaling along. I'm not really doing anything crazy. I'm just sort of staying in position. Pretty much hanging out. And again, now we're back up to like what I would expect the speed to be. We're in the 30s again, coming down the finishing straight. Last time it was 7. Now we're down to 6. So we got 6 laps to go. And I think that was the preem. I think that was the preem that Steve won. So again, kudos to him. So I figure, at some point, I do want to move up a little bit. Like you can see, there's still that leader out there. I think that is Steve. The pack's coming back to him. The peloton's coming back to him. He's not going to stay out for 6 laps, but Steve's a strong rider. Like, it's amazing. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just sets his speed and keeps going. So it's always fun riding with him. And by the way, if there's any comments you have about my commentary, please feel free to leave them. I enjoy watching this as much as anybody, just to see what I did or what I could do better. So it's always a learning experience for me. So if there's anything you'd like to hear more about as I'm doing commentaries, let me know. I'll be glad to add it in. Hopefully you enjoy these videos. Like I said, it's actually a really good training tool for me. Seeing where I pick the wrong line, or don't follow the right wheel, or stay on a wheel too long when I should have moved off, that kind of thing. So anything you want to know, just ask. So now at some point, like I said, they knocked 2 laps off it. So last time around they said there were 6 laps to go, and this might be the lap where we come around and it was actually 4 laps to go. That guy was just pointing out, if you saw his arm guard, he was just pointing out that there was a guy here. Now this guy, I don't know what he was doing, but Steve and I weren't going to let him in. He was off on the side. Who knows what he was doing? And we just said, yeah, we're gonna shut that down and go around him. Which reminds me. So I was telling you there was a crash. So the lap before the preem, when Steve K and I were moving up, there was actually a crash behind us on that lap. I didn't know anything about it. Never heard it, never saw it. I didn't know about it till today, actually, when in the group chat, Steve showed a video clip, shared a video clip of somebody that was behind us that was in the crash and actually showed it. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. Like, I guess it does pay to be at the front sometimes, right? Oh, and by the way, I did not notice what the lap counter said that time around, but next time we'll watch it. Not sure what Joe was saying to me right there. Like, it's sort of hard when you're in the group. You can hear people talk. When you're sort of out on the side like this, there is a lot of wind noise. 24 miles an hour with your helmet and the straps and your ears sort of sticking out a little bit from the helmet straps. It's definitely hard to hear. But there are times where, like, during the race, you'll communicate with each other and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, or, watch for this, that kind of thing. So, but the other thing is, riding with Joe and Steve and Steve K, you get to know each other's style, you get to know how they pedal, and you trust them. I'll ride behind Joe, I'll ride behind Steve any day. I've ridden enough with them that, I absolutely trust their line. I trust that, they're not going to do anything crazy. And I learn from them every time I ride. I still don't consider myself a what I'd say excellent rider. I think I'm pretty good, but I still sometimes like up here, I'll come in and I'll get nervous and I'm closing on the guy too fast. And I might gently scrub speed where I don't really need to. It's those kind of things that I learn from Joe and Steve all the time. Like, I watch Joe ride. Joe rarely, if ever, touches his brakes. Steve rarely, if ever, touches his brakes. And that's where I want to be. Like, they're really good at gauging their speed, gauging their effort. There's Steve W. back. So I really want to pay attention this time to see what they say from a lap perspective, because I think at this point we might only have 2 or 3 laps left, because, as I said, my race finished at just over 16 miles. And it was supposed to be 18, so we'll see. And based upon how Steve's riding, I think, and he's trying to move up, I think we're getting close. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, we're down to 4. So there's 4 laps left. So that would still be the right distance. So if we do 4 laps and it was supposed to be 18 miles, that's still going to give us 18 miles. So I don't think they took the laps off yet. But you see at this point, like now at this point, I just had a quick chat with Steve K. Like, not even a chat, just I was going now. Steve did great at this point. He was looking strong. There was no doubt in my mind that Steve K was getting through this race. So I wasn't going to go crazy, but I was going to try to move up a little bit. So there's Steve W. dragging a pack again. He is such a strong guy. It's just he's a great teammate to have. Now, if you notice, I think there were 2 guys off the front at this point. I don't think that stayed that way through the finish. I think those 2 guys that were off the front came back, or we caught up to them. So now my thought process here is, Steve's riding strong. My thought process here is, if I can help Steve out to the finish, that's what I'm going to do. If I can take over for him at the front a little bit and give him some relief, let him catch his breath, I'm all for that. So yeah, there's is it one guy? Yeah, there's a guy ahead, and this other guy's coming back. Steve's chasing. I forget if this guy decides not to go around and I go around, or we'll see in a second. Now remember, last time the lap counter said 4, so we'll see what it says this time. Hopefully we get a shot of it. Yeah, so that guy wasn't coming around. I figured I'd come up and help Steve, and now, Siggers, there you go. That's it. So now we're on the bell lap. So it went from 4, this should have been 3. That's where they dropped the 2 laps. So we're on the last lap unexpectedly, and I'm not really where I want to be. I don't want to be at the front here, but at the same point in time, I told Steve later, all I was trying to do now was get him to the top of the hill. So there's one guy off the front. I'm doing everything I can to get back to that guy and get Steve in position. Like if you look at the map, I want to get through the next roundabout and close this gap to that guy, especially knowing that this is the bell lap. So I wasn't going to win. So there goes a chaser, and you're going to see a bunch of people, and Steve will come by soon. Steve finished really strong, but this is where you really notice that, hey, these guys are younger and more powerful than me, but I did a good job. There goes Joe. There's Steve there. So now we're in the fast part. So I burned a lot of energy trying to get back up to that guy, and I think I did a respectable job trying to bring him back. Now it's just the dash for the line. So I'm sort of figuring, okay, I want to surf through here pretty good. If I can move up a little bit, that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I don't really have a killer sprint, but before this video ends, I just want to say it was great to race with Steve. I absolutely will do it any time, but this was a good course. It's a technical course. It's a tough course. So now here's where things are opening up. So we're coming up to the corner. Excuse me. Coming up to the corner, you'll see right. People are already going off the front now, but right you get around this corner, and it's just an all-out free for all. You can see it's stretched out nice. It's really fast. The corner's tight. You're coming around a corner at 31 miles an hour. That's fast. I passed a couple people. I'm okay with what I did. I'm not a super sprinter, but I figured, okay, I'll give it through, and I took it all through the line. Got a couple people right to the line, but all in all, that was great. I had a good time doing it. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, this is Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show saying peace and like that video. Thank you.